talking.
Oh gosh. Okay, but other than that, there's just a lot of things for me personally. Like I said, I'm trying to get into screen acting or screenwriting, and there seems to be.
But what do you do? Do you study the sort of books that are available, and the sort of classic books, aren't there, on screenwriting and
Yeah.
classic studies? I mean, I suppose screenwriting hasn't really changed. I mean, the ways into it haven't changed for 50 years.
Yeah.
The discipline of it
Right.
hasn't really changed.
But
It ain't the same as writing for the theatre. It ain't the same as writing a novel. I think where I come into contact as an actor, where I come into contact with screenwriting, of course, is when people send me scripts or I'm having to work on scripts. And I'm in that unusual position of, as a lot of performers are, we have to be able to discern a good script from a bad one.
yeah.
Because we've got to choose whether to be in them or not. But just because you can discern a good one from a bad one doesn't necessarily mean you can write one.
Right.
So, I mean, I know what I mean, but
Right.
about qualities of. I tell you what. Here's something. Have you ever seen With Nell and I?
I don't think so.
Try and get a copy of it and see it.
Okay.
Only because I know for a fact that what's more, you can buy the script to With Nell and I in book form.
Okay.
And I know now that it's used in universities in Britain as a model, as a screenwriting model. And I can see why. Because it follows almost exactly all the rules of best screenwriting. For example, you could take this script of With Nell and I, and if you block the left-hand margin with the characters' names on it, you would still know who was speaking.
Right.
Why is that? Because of, I suppose, what they I don't know what they call it, but I would call it character delineation.
Mm-hmm.
So often I do pictures or TV things, particularly television, where idiomatically you could be forgiven that all the characters came from the same mother and father. Everybody speaks the same. It's the same attack in everybody's voice or vernacular. Whereas the best screenwriting, even if you don't know who's speaking, you know somebody different is. You know what I mean? I'm laboring the point now, but even that. But you'd be amazed. I get so many scripts I read and I think, that's not finished. Why have they sent that to me?
Yeah.
That's not even. They should go back and redraft that. That's not even completed.
So what do you think would be a good script? Like, what do you think grabs your attention when you're reading something?
Something where particularly, I know what actors, I only know from an acting point of view.
Right.
I can tell you what actors don't like.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that actors don't like most is exposition.
Okay.
Whereas if you and I were filming a scene now, and this is a film, and and all we were doing was talking about a third person who wasn't in the room.
Okay.
And in order to fill in for the audience information about that person, that's a boring scene. Why have you and me do that? You see what I mean? That's exposition.
Right.
So, but you turn the TV on, you see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nearly always in soaps.
Yeah.
I'm not denigrating soaps, but it's a nature of it.
Right.
Where you have to be, you're constantly being told the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Keep up. Here's the plot. Here's the story.
Right.
Or and all questions are loaded. Why did you study? And it's all plot. Whereas the best screenwriting is where you allow character.
Okay.
Characters reveal their character.
Mm-hmm.
They don't reveal the plot.
Right.
You see what I mean? It's a difference. It's a
Yeah.
crucial difference. And the best cinema that you see, or the best TV even that you see, characters sound like characters. They don't, and you don't realise you're getting information because, and no two characters sound the same. Why should they?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas, like I say, anyway, that's it. That's my Paul McGann's fourth lesson. Good and bad screenwriting.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was also going to add quickly, and now the words are lost to me. On that subject, I was going to ask, science fiction. You mentioned on the panel that the time slots for science fiction have gone down. Do you think that the genre is maybe dying out, or do you think
it's under pressure? I think televisually because, a few different reasons, but chiefly because of video games.
Okay.
Because it's in competition with them. Science fiction needs. Think of Doctor Who, for example. Doctor Who has to look impressive.
Right.
But if you want to make explosions or crash bang wallop or visual effects, you've got to pay for them. And what's more, they often take most of the resources of a particular episode. You want to make a 50-minute episode of something that includes chase sequences and CGI, and that's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it like Moffat, I think Moffat's point was, or what he was alluding to, is if you condensed the time frame of an episode, then necessarily you're condensing the expense, but you're giving writing a chance.
Right.
I think he was making an elliptical complaint,
Mm-hmm.
and he was in a good position to do it. He's a writer.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to write crash bang wallop. He wants to write characters. You see what I mean? He wants to write. Again, it's going back to the point I was trying to make before.
Right.
And necessarily in sci-fi, you need a certain amount of visual effects, but not always. Sci-fi is also about, ideas.
Oh yeah.
One of the greatest sci-fi pictures ever made was a 1950 French movie, Jean-Luc Godard, Alphaville. Have you ever seen this film, Alphaville?
No.
See it.
But I'm gonna. Yeah. Definitely.
You're an hour in to the film before you even know it's a science fiction picture.
Yeah.
You think you're watching one thing. It's ostensibly it's set in Paris, and it's ostensibly a police chase drama. They're after some crooks in Paris who trying to rob a bank. An hour in,
Wow.
you realise there's aliens involved. You never see them. It's fantastic,
Yeah.
and it's
All in
a
mind.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
And then there are certain. I won't ruin it for you, but there are certain visual effects in it that in 1950s visual effects, and they're stunning.
Mm-hmm.
The first one includes drops of water coming out of a tap, and you can see things in the drops. Anyway, I won't even spoil it for you. But there's no CGI in it, obviously in it,
Right.
and suddenly you're thinking, oh my God, everything I've just been watching now it begins to make sense. For the last hour, things that they alluded, but that's also science fiction.
Yeah.
It's and in a way, the imagination, of course, is boundless. It's infinite. It's a little like when we make these audios where it can be allowed to flourish more.
Yeah.
You don't have to see it.
Right.
You don't have to, and so if you don't have to see it, you don't have to pay to make it.
Right.
Anyway,
Right.
now I'm labouring the point, but you get the point.
Yeah.
Alphaville. There's a recommendation. I better go.
Yeah. Well,